Hi, this is Jonathan with JonathanStewartPhotos.com. Today I'm going to be testing the new Sony 70-400G SSM2 lens. This is a lens that officially comes out in the United States in July of this year, 2013, and I was lucky enough to score a copy of it a couple months in advance on eBay. Came from Hong Kong, and don't ask me how they do that, but I'm going to be comparing it to the old version, the 70-400, which is a lens that has been incredibly useful to me over the last couple of years for my travel and wildlife photography, but it does have its shortcomings in terms of bokeh, in terms of focus speed, and also a little bit in terms of contrast. The new lens, Sony promises, addresses some of those issues with a new focus motor and also a couple of what they call nano coatings on two of the lens elements. Now these coatings, they put on by some sort of advanced process that I don't pretend to understand, but what they're supposed to do is cut down on the amount of light that's reflected internally inside the lens and therefore allow for better light transmission through the lens and sharper, more contrasty images. So we're going to put both lenses to the test today, compare some of these images, blow them up, and see if the new lens is worth the price that you'd pay to upgrade. Today for the tests I'll be using the A99 body for stills and video, so let's give it a go. The most obvious thing you notice when you hold the new lens, of course, is the color. It is a creamy off-white. Whether you like that or not is, of course, a matter of taste. I do prefer it to the old color, which I think is more suitable for the Nex system, the mirrorless system, than it is for the alpha mount. It's still an attractive lens. I think this is a more classic look. Also, the texture is slightly different. A little bit bumpy here compared to the smoother texture of the old lens. Other cosmetic differences, there really are none. Aside from that, the lenses are identical. The focus hold buttons are in the same place. Focus limiter switch is in the same place. It has the same screw on the bottom of the top ring, the same collar. There is a little bit of difference here as far as the label with the serial number, although that could just be a function of me having purchased a Asian version of the lens versus a North American version. Also, the lens hoods are slightly different. Aside from the color and this golden orange stripe, they do have a different model number, ALC-SH121 for the new one and ALC-SH107 for the old one. Now, one problem that I had, a real annoyance for me with the old lens hood, was this little door, this little filter ring door, which you could slide open and close to stick your finger in and turn a filter ring that if you happen to have one mounted on the end of your telephoto. Really flimsy. It broke eventually, as I figured it would, and I had to end up super gluing the thing shut, so I can't use that anymore. Pain in the butt. The new one still feels flimsy, not quite as flimsy as the old one. The plastic stay that they put in here, they have reinforced it somewhat. It's now maybe a millimeter or two thicker. Whether that makes a difference or not remains to be seen. I do feel like I have to baby this hood though, compared to just having it as a solid hood. It would be nice if they decided to make this a metal hood or gone with a little bit thicker plastic. And I know to replace one of these things it's about $100, so no real improvement here. Just a minor little improvement on the door. Okay, one thing I was curious about was whether there'd be a difference in weight between the two lenses. So let's measure the weight of the old lens. It's got front and back cap and the collar. Comes in at 1,662 grams. Okay, so 1.662 kilos. Heavy lens. New lens, 1,646. So there's a difference of 16 grams, if my mathematics are correct. Why this lens is slightly lighter, 16 grams, pretty insignificant, but have no idea. Anyway, it is slightly lighter. Okay, we're going to do a test of the focus speed now of the two lenses. This is the new version, the 2, and we're focusing at the close limit of the focus range. This is about slightly less than 2 meters away, this flower. And you can see it focuses just fine. Now, I'm going to move straight from this flower, I'm going to move straight to infinity, and we'll see how long it takes to focus. Okay, not bad. Let's move back again from infinity back to this flower. I don't know if I could point it properly, right? There it goes. Actually pretty good. Let's try one more time both ways. From the flower, get in there, to infinity. There. Okay. And infinity back to the flower. There. Pretty darn fast, I think. Now, let's just try taking a couple intermediate tests. Close up to intermediate. Intermediate a little bit further away. And infinity. Alright, now let's repeat the test with the old version. However, let's just go back to the flower one more time. I'm having fun here. There. Pretty darn fast and just a minimum of hunting. So let's change lenses and see how the old version performs in the same test. I'm with the old version of the lens now, exact same spot, exact same distance. Let's repeat the test. So we're at 400 millimeters. We're at the close end of the focus range. I'm showing that that is about 2 meters away. I wonder if we can get even a little bit closer here. Yeah, that's about 1.5 meters away. And let's go straight from there to infinity and see how long it takes to focus. Come on, baby. You can do it. You can do it. There it goes. It's in focus. I don't know about you, but I noticed a difference there. Pretty significant one. So let's go back from infinity to super close-up. Where's my flowers? Okay. A little bit quicker that time, but still quite a bit slower than with the new version. So let's go back again from close-up to infinity. Come on, baby. It is having a rough time. Okay, and I'm hand holding this, so sorry about the shakiness. Let's go back again. Yeah, it's really taking its time. Now let's go to some intermediate focus distances. Again, that's a little bit less than 2 meters. Let's go to about 4 meters. See, it's really, really slow compared to the new lens. That's a huge difference. I'm going to come out and say it's a huge difference in terms of focus speed. Look at that B. Still pretty darn good clarity on this lens though. Alright, one more time. Close up to infinity. Close up, you can do it. And infinity. Yeah. I mean, huge difference. Huge. I'm not timing this. This is unscientific, but I mean, in terms of usability, big difference in the two versions of the lens. All right, now let's take some photos and we'll compare image quality. Here we have an image taken from the old lens. This is 400 millimeters at 100% crop. You can see it's very contrasty, good colors. I like it. And here's the same scene taken with the new lens, both on a tripod, f8, 1/80th of a second. I don't see a whole lot of difference, to tell you the truth. So this is the old lens, 400 millimeter, 100% crop, f8, 1/400th of a second. Looks pretty darn sharp to me. Nice looking picture. And here's the same scene, new lens. Looks pretty much the same to me. There's a little bit of wind, so that could account for a little bit of blur here. So here we are back to the old lens, and I see some really good contrast. Sharp, again at f8. Switch over to the new lens, same exact distance, same focus, and maybe a teeny bit better. You know, it's back to the old lens. Now it's important to note that if you go to the Sony website, the MTF curves on these lenses are identical. So you wouldn't expect there to be too much difference. This is the old lens and back to the new.
I don't think you're gaining too much in terms of contrast.
Really, the big difference between the two lenses is in the way it focuses. Image quality, if there's any difference at all, it's extremely subtle. As I mentioned on the Sony website, the MTF curves shown for each lens are identical. To me, looking at the pictures that I took, 100% crop and even closer, very subtle differences, if at all, and some of the differences that I noticed in contrast and clarity could be chalked up to a little bit of blur from the wind. So in other words, the differences in image quality, probably not worth the upgrade, at least in my opinion. However, focus speed, really significant. If you're like me and you shoot birds that tend to fly, or animals that tend to run, or kids that tend to play, you want to be able to grab that focus quick, and the difference between the two lenses in that regard is quite significant. So yes, the upgrade is worth it for focus speed. For image quality, probably not. So I hope you enjoyed the review. Please subscribe and check out my photo website, and I'll see you again soon. I'm going to have upcoming reviews of the Sigma 35 1.4 and also the Zeiss 50 1.4 for Sony mount. So stay tuned.